Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, yeah. It's noon. Well, it's noon on the East Coast. It's 11 here. So good morning. It is Thursday. What is today? The 20th, right? 21st. Holy cow, just a couple more days till Christmas. Holy cow, just a couple more days till Christmas. Hello, everybody. Justin is in the thing. Let me see. Is he ready yet? I might as well go ahead and bring up a Google Hangouts. Hope you guys are doing good. Just getting a couple things set here. Looks like I'm peeking like crazy over there for YouTube. Test, 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 test. There we go. Check, check, check. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I'm not blowing the YouTubers out. By the way, I sure could use some help, you guys, everybody out there in the wild, wonderful world. I could use some help promoting our YouTube channel at, youtube.com/Church Training Academy. Still working on getting all that all set up. I got more playlists and stuff to make. And, but it's amazing. We have quite a few people that have joined us over there. In fact, I'm going to go bring it up real quick and take a look. I'm amazed that folks are finding us without us actually trying to do anything, which is, you know, like I said, that's just darn cool. Let's see here. Now, I know I'm sending a signal. Are we dropping frames here? We are. I'm going to lower my signal here in OBS just a hair. See if that helps. I know we dropped about 400 frames. I don't know, it doesn't seem like much, but in 5 minutes, that's 4.3% that's been dropped. And I want you guys to have as good of an experience as possible. We'll see if that goes better. All right, now lowered the quality just a little bit, the bit rate, streaming bit rate a little bit over on YouTube as well, so that, I don't know, I usually have like 20 or to 23 or so up here, 20 megabits, you know, but I don't know. Today, I mean, everybody's here today, so Catherine and the girls are both here, and I've told everybody, stay off the internet, you know, but, you know, there's neighbors and stuff, so they could all be using it too. Not our connection, but just the pool. I think I'm the only one in our area around here that is actually live streaming on any regular basis, though, which is pretty cool. Let me see. Justin, are you there, buddy? Today we're going to be talking about the wonderful world of technology and social media and stuff, and our predictions as to what we think may be happening in 2018. Let's see. Anybody in the? Let me go over here. All right. Okay, he's on his way. Hello, John G. Mullet. Hello, Christopher Hall. How are you guys doing? Glad to see y'all in here. Let's see. Christopher Hall. I haven't. Christopher or Chris? Which is it? Mr. Hall. Have you and I met? Have we met in real life? You look a little familiar. Have we met? I know John G. Moulet and I have not met. We've talked on Messenger a few times. How are you doing, John? How's things going? You guys, you getting stuff up and running, and have you launched your live stream and such? Let me know. Let's see here. All right, yeah, we're going good over on the YouTubes. What's everybody got planned for the holidays? What are you guys doing? Everybody going out of town? Are y'all traveling? You going to see family? Family coming to you? Jordan, you're up in Canada, so you guys like snowed in and stuff? Yes, Chris, you have been on the chats before. That's why your name seems familiar. It's like, I know that guy. And you look a little familiar, actually. Relaxing for the weekend? Good. Good. We are going to be hanging with family, which is good. Justin and I are going to get to meet for the first time in real life. He has family he's traveling to see, and I have some family I'm going to be seeing. And it turns out that he's able to swing over to where my family is and spend a couple hours together, which is really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Never seen each other in real life. We've only seen each other on the show and through like Skype and Zoom and things like that. I mean, we've seen each other from here up. That's basically it, you know? So it's going to be really cool to actually get to physically shake the hand of my business partner, the guy who I'm walking down this road with, and who I'm, you know, basically resting the financial future of my family, whose hands I'm putting that in. So probably a good idea that we actually meet in real life, don't y'all think? Let's see here. There he is. All right, let me bring him up. Hello. Why am I getting it twice? Hello.
There he is.
There we are. All right, let me get your volume up here. All right, talk to me.
How about now?
There you are.
All right.
Where's my dual screen here? All right, let me make you look good.
Yeah, I don't think the technology is there yet.
Yeah.
To make me look good.
I don't care how many predictions there are. Let's see here.
How's everyone doing today?
Got a few folks in there in the
great.
Chat room, the room of chatting, the room of requirement. All right, there we go. Now you're up on the dual screen, buddy.
Tommy said he's trying to live through Christmas.
Living
you and me both,
Christmas.
brother.
Well, that's a pretty low standard there, Tommy. I'm trying not to die. I mean,
every day is a win.
every day Tommy's breathing is a win.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, he is one of the guys that has been around me the longest as I've been walking down this path, and I'll tell you, it's a joy to have him as a meager but important part of my life. I actually wish that he would just pick up and move here and like come join our church, and you know, we could go have, you know, catfish and stuff after church together. It'd be really good. Let's see here. All right, so you got your predictifications ready?
Oh yeah.
Good. I'm gonna throw.
And
I'm gonna throw some.
And most of them will be right too.
Of course they will.
This will be a good one to revisit next December. How much was he right? How much was Dave right?
I'm always right. Just that the rest of the world hasn't caught up to that yet.
Yes. Well.
All
I
right.
was gonna think of a witty banter, but I can't think of anything.
There is no retort to that because you know it's the truth.
We'll see. We'll see what people say about The Last Jedi. See how right you are.
Yeah. And how right both of us are.
Hey, I think in a few years after the trilogy is complete, I think people will like it. I think it will be less divisive. Let's say that.
Yeah, it could be.
I know some of these things. I'm going to be like that guy that walked out. We were talking about this. There's a YouTube video you can go watch where the news crew, the news reporter or whatever, was interviewing people that were coming out of the Phantom Menace opening night. And everyone loved the Phantom Menace.
Mhm.
If you're not familiar with Star Wars culture, Phantom Menace is pretty much the weakest of any of all the Star Wars movies, and
No, it's not.
kind of went a different tone of what Star Wars is usually. And so, right now, what is it? 18 years later, most Star Wars people, or even most nerd culture, don't like Phantom Menace. A lot of people even actively hate it.
Like I said,
I think it
they're
was
wrong.
I think it was all right. I thought it was all right. But anyways, most people actively like hate it or just don't like it. So it's interesting when you watch back in, what was it, 99 when episode 1 came out?
I believe that's right, yeah.
A lot of people were coming out of the theater and they were like, "Oh, we loved it. George Lucas did it again. This is the best ever. It's even better than Empire." And everyone loved it. But then they closed it out with one guy that was like, "George Lucas should be ashamed of himself. This was the worst Star Wars movie ever. I can't believe he did this." And it's like, you look at it now and it's like, okay, well, that guy actually, even though he wasn't popular that year, once time kind of went on and the halo effect ended, people were like, you know what, that really wasn't that great of a movie. It was or at least compared to the other Star Wars as they were released. What are your thoughts on episode 1? You're kind of shaking your head there.
I liked episode 1. I thought it was great. I tend to keep things in, I guess, in the proper perspective. The time of episode 1 is a completely different time. The galaxy is a completely different galaxy than it was when A New Hope, that time frame. It's 20 years prior. It's the heyday of the Republic. I mean, everything's going great. The economy is going great. There's some political stuff that's happening and all that, but by and large, the average person is living a decent life. They're working. They can afford a ship. They can buy stuff. Things are shiny. The economy's good. All that sort of stuff is good. So there's not a lot of decay and depression and stuff. It's life as usual. It's a roaring 20s or whatever. So it has a much cleaner, polished, good look to it and stuff. And over the course of that trilogy, we see things start to shift and start to decay and start to fall apart. And then there's a 20-year gap, which is, a good portion of that 20-year gap is actually told through the show Star Wars Rebels, the animated series. And we see things, getting worse and falling apart and oppression happening and all that sort of stuff. And then we open the door on Rogue One and things are rough. People are starving, people are scared, all that sort of stuff. So it's a completely different time. So it doesn't look like Star Wars because only thing we've known is depression and struggle. We came into the middle of the story. We didn't get to see it beforehand. If we go back, 20,000 years where Master Voto Boss was and Nomi Sunrider and all that, it's a completely different looking galaxy. A lot of familiarity, but I mean, it's 20,000 prior, so it's going to look different. It's going to have a different feel. A lot of people didn't like Jar Jar. That's the problem. A lot of people didn't like the Gungans, and I'm going to say that's racist because that actually is something that's racist. I used it right. See, I didn't use it like a lot of other people do. That if you don't like something, then you just decide that it's racist because they don't like him because he talks weird and he's different and he's a little bit goofy and his people look funny, and so people don't like that, and so they're all racist. So into discussion.
All right, my prediction for 2018. First, Dave's gonna get a lot of hate mail. No, I'm kidding. Check your YouTube stream. We had a little bit of a hiccup.
Yeah, it's hiccup
on my end, and it looks like it got interrupted. Looks like Facebook's back online, but YouTube.
Yeah, we're having.
Okay, it looks like it's back online now.
Yeah, it's fluctuating a little bit here and there.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually I'm actually going to pull down the quality of our stream some here. I'm doing it at about 2 megabits, but I'm going to pull it down. You guys are going to see a quality drop on Facebook for the live stream because apparently something, and it just could be Time Warner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot of people are home for the holidays.
Yeah, something's going on with the network or whatever.
People in the neighborhood.
Usually,
Absolutely.
I'm able to send about 6 megabits.
Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Herman. I believe that's how you say it. I've had one guy that I know that had this name, and we called him Herman. He's in the show for the first time. Herman Portillo.
Fantastic.
From Lake Wales, Florida.
Where's what platform is he on right now?
YouTube. He's on YouTube.
Awesome.
So shout out to Herman. Thanks for watching, man.
Herman.
And shout out to Adam. He just joined us on Facebook. Dave, are you ready?
I am. Look at that. Herman Portillo.
See.
Yeah. See, can you roll your R's?
Yep.
You can? Good. Can your wife roll her R's?
Yep.
Can Jill?
I haven't tried recently.
Yeah.
I haven't tried recently.
See if she can get the R down.
I'm sure someday she will. Although she doesn't have any R's in her name. I just realized. Jillian Amelia Nava.
Wow. She's
no R's.
She's very schwa sounding.
Yeah.
When was the last time you heard that said, a schwa? You remember learning about that? The schwa? The sound?
Nope. Schwa. No.
Uh-huh. That's the sound where letters don't necessarily, instead of it sounds like UH versus A or AH,
okay.
Called a schwa. All right.
I had a whole semester course of diction, and I don't remember that.
What's the matter with you? You took a course in diction?
Yep.
Huh.
Learned how to read IPA and pronounce a whole bunch of different languages.
IPA?
I can do. Oftentimes I'll say something and people are like, "Oh, you speak Italian." I'm like, "Nope, I'm just really good at reading it."
Yeah.
I have no idea what it says, but I know how to pronounce things.
Yeah, I know. I'm like that too. When I took Spanish, I could read it great. I mean, yeah. I don't care what the words are. I had no idea. I could just read it all, and I could inflect, and I could do all the sort of stuff. But it'd be like, now what is he what's he trying to say here? And it's like, I know like 6 of the words, and my name's not one of them. All right, guys.
All right.
So
we ready to start?
Here we go. I'm gonna roll an intro here. Gonna put out an intro. Let me make sure that the music is off. Okay. Do you have your pro tip ready?
Yep.
You gonna share your screen when you're doing it, or is it?
No. Okay. I don't have really anything prepared. We'll have to add that in post.
Yeah.
Because it's really just again, high level strategies.
Yeah. Okay. You know what we should do when we do something that's just high-level strategies is make 1 or 2 slides or something that are just, some bullet points or something like that.
More work. Come on, I just want to get on here and talk.
Gotta have some visual interest when these videos are put out.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I'll just wave my hands a lot.
By the way, I came up with what I think may work as a name for the show instead of CTA Live. How about Church Training Academy presents The Dave and Justin Show?
It's a little long.
Yeah, well, it's the Dave and Justin Show, but
except for when we have interviews.
No, it's the Dave and Justin Show with special guest Arnold Ziffelblatt. See?
We'll keep workshopping that.
Yeah. Come up with something that's better branding and that rolls off the tongue. You're not going to find it. Not going to find it at all.
Anyone got any other ideas? Leave a comment down below.
Please, 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 please. It needs to be easily brandable. It needs to be able to come off the tip of the tongue, and people need to be able to remember it. So that's what we're going for. And frankly, they'll remember anything if we say it enough. All right, so here we go. Hey guys, 2017 is coming to a rapid close. In fact, if you're watching this in 2018, then 2017 is already gone. Now the question is, what's going to happen in 2018? Today, Justin and I are going to give some of our predictions. And it all starts now. Okay. Here we go. That was our intro. Hey guys, welcome to another rip-roaring example of foolishness. Okay, hang on. Hey guys, welcome to the final episode of CTA Live for 2017. I am Dave Curley, founder of Church Training Academy, and with me today is my lovely and talented co-host, Mr. Dr. the Amazo, Justin Nava. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, and that's Mr. Justin Nava. I skipped med school for that reason.
You're like, no, I don't need that. I don't need that MD.
No interest in doctor anything. I am fine with Mr.
No, it's Justin Nava, MD, multidimensional.
Yes, I exist in 3 dimensions. Some say even a 4th. We just have to wait and see.
Yes. This is
that was like a super deep meta joke right there for physics people.
Oh, he's got a million jokes, folks. He's funny.
That was great.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't like to toot my own horn, but man, that was a good joke.
No, that was good. Your mother and I are very proud. Just want you to know that.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, so
wait a minute.
Hey, so how's 2017 been for you, buddy?
2017 has been great. We kind of talked about our biggest lessons learned 2 weeks ago, and just reflecting back on that has been huge. I always say my biggest success of 2017 is keeping my child alive so she could turn 4.
Yeah.
And she's learning, she's growing, she's amazing. She's meeting Santa today, not for the first time, but she's going. I don't get to be there because I have work, but it's been great. My wife still likes me, I'm assuming, because she keeps coming home.
Yeah.
And things are going good.
That's good.
How about you?
It's been like I said, it's been a year of challenges, a year of firsts, a year of figuring things out. We've struggled, we've had successes, we've had failures. Win some, lose some, that sort of thing. By and large, it's been good. My daughter Jana, those of you that have been following me for any length of time know that I have a daughter, Jana. She's 15, that has some special needs, and her epilepsy has come back. It came back around April or May or so. She started having seizures again, and we started figuring out what was causing those seizures. We know and have expected that she would start having them again as she got older, and sure enough, it started happening. So we've gotten all that dialed in and medicated and all that sort of stuff. So that's good. It's been a year of learning with her, and dude, I just realized it. My daughter Jillian. And yes, folks, we each have a daughter named Jillian. Isn't that cool? My daughter Jillian in March blew her knee out, and just yesterday was released from physical therapy. It has been for her a year of stretching and pain and trying to walk and all that sort of stuff. So by and large, it's been a very interesting year. And I, too, have successfully kept my family
now
alive.
I feel bad because I was like, hey, my year's so great. And these things are still happening. And then now I just feel bad.
Yeah, you should. You should. Yeah.
I should feel bad. All right. I'm going to go eat my feelings now.
Yes.
After this.
Perfect. That's perfect. Hey, folks, if you guys know, each week we try to share with you guys a pro tip during our live show. And Justin has one. This was about website fixing, website checkup. What are you doing?
Right now I have, because what I was going to do was going to dole them out over 5 weeks, but I want to give everyone a challenge, and we'll open the new year with this article: 5 simple habits to keep your church website awesome in 2018. So that's the pro tip. So instead of doing one for every week and doling it out and like making you wait, I'm just going to give you a rundown of all 5 right now. We kind of hit one last week, and then you can kind of start digesting that. And then in 2018, when we come out with the article, you can bookmark it and return to it, save it, whatever, and start living these habits out to keep your church website awesome. So it's really about church maintenance, but also keeping it awesome throughout 2018.
You mean like sweeping up and fixing a ceiling tile, that kind of maintenance?
Yeah, pretty much. When one of the pixels go out on your website, you want to take the light bulb out and put it back in.
There you go.
That's number 1. Spoiler alert. No, I'm kidding. All right. So ready? Am I good to go?
Go for it.
Because once I start, I ain't gonna stop.
No,
so I'm gonna just run through these, and then we have it's gonna be like a 2,000 word article next week. It's gonna detail everything you need to know to keep your website awesome. So number 1 is keep your website updated.
Hang on, I'm still talking. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just wanted you to do a very short intro. For those of y'all who don't know,
wait for Dave.
We're doing this. This is something we actually do during the live show. for you guys, kind of an early access thing. And then we pull this out, and this becomes a completely separate article and YouTube video and stuff. So, because we're shooting this for YouTube as we're doing it here live for you, I want to make sure that he properly introduces it. So, Justin, I'm going to cut to a full screen for you, and you may properly introduce it. And I'm going to turn my mic down. Go for it.
Okay, take two. Wait, no, we're still rolling. Same take. Okay. I'm trying to think of how I want to introduce it because, okay, I'm going to introduce it as 2018 because this video is going to come out. It's going to be published on its own in 2018. So I'm going to start it that way. So don't get confused. Hey guys, my name is Justin Nava with Church Training Academy, and today I'm going to share with you how you can keep your church website awesome in 2018. We want to create a great website, but keeping it updated, keeping it maintained can be a challenge, especially when you have thousands of different things coming at you. I want this on the website, this needs to change, this needs to be updated, this needs to be edited, and before you know it, these different changes can really bog down your website's appearance and bog your work time down because you're spending so much time on your website. So here are 5 simple things you can do to keep your website awesome in 2018. Number 1, you want to keep your church website updated, but not only that, pick one specific time in the week to keep it updated. For me, that's Monday mornings. A lot of church events happen over the weekends or happen on Sundays. So if you sit down at Monday morning, for me, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I come into work, get my coffee, say hey to everyone, check my emails, and then I know I'm going to update the website. Remove old events. Update the live stream link. Put your audio the latest audio sermon if you have that on there, and add events that are coming up that you know are coming up. If you set aside one specific time, then you won't miss an update. You won't be clamoring, oh, I didn't put that on the website and it's tomorrow. I got to put it on there, and people will know. If there's an event going on, it's going to get added on Monday. So you won't have ministry leaders coming up to you asking constantly, when is it going to be put up? Can you put it up today? And you're like, no, it's Friday. I'm not even working. I'm not going to put it up today. If they know it'll go up on Monday, that makes your life a little bit easier. So keep your website updated and choose one specific time. I love Monday morning. Number 2 is get all the details for events before you actually put the event on the website. If I go to your church website and I see that you're going to have a movie night for the youth, TBD, right? To be determined. That tells me nothing. All I know is you're thinking about having a movie night for the youth. I can make no plans. I cannot check if I have any plans. I don't even know what day it's going to be on. I don't know if it's going to be at a theater near me. I don't know how much it's going to cost. Should I save money? Do I need to pull money out of my kid's piggy? You're not telling me anything. So get all the details for your events before you put them on the website. And this puts you in a little bit of a hard place if you're not the ministry leader and the children's pastor comes up to you and says, I want to put, this sleepover on the website, but we don't know when it's going to be or if we're going to have food or not. It's a tough place because you have to tell them, I can't really put something up that's incomplete. It doesn't make any sense. Most businesses do not operate that way. They do not say, we have a winter sale coming up. We don't know what's going to be on sale or how much is going to be off, but it's coming up. That generates no excitement. In fact, it generates frustration. So what I like to do is have just a form of who, what, where, when, why. Who is it for? Where is it going to be? When is it going to be? Why should people care to come? And then I also include in there, will childcare be available? Then if someone wants something on the website, you can just point them to that form, either online or on paper, and they fill it out. And that way you have all the details that you can make an amazing event page. Because also you don't want an event page that just says, hey, Vacation Bible Schools in the summer. See you there. You really want to explain to people why they should come and who's invited. So number 3 is going to be check your ministry pages for updates. We hit this last week in our pro tip, making sure your Christmas pictures don't live beyond Christmas on your website. It looks dated. But along with that, check your ministry pages, especially if you have the actual ministry leaders updating their own pages. There is merit in that, but sometimes their lives get busy. So if they have old Christmas pictures and it's March, go ahead. You should, if you're the main website guy, you should have permission. Take those Christmas pictures off and put some spring pictures, put some Easter pictures. Make sure they don't have any events that says, hey, come to our Christmas party next week and it's March. That makes no sense. So make sure that the ministry pages stay up to date and make sure you check them out every week too. Number 4, of course, is check your spelling and grammar. And I have a sub tip for you. There's nothing that looks worse than having a misspell or a misprint in the bulletin. So before you hit publish, make sure you have someone either in the office or, I even asked my wife to check spelling for me and make sure that things make sense, make sure it's spelled correctly, formatted correctly. Because there's nothing worse than having someone like, oh, it's Christmas time, we welcome the sin of the world. And I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be son. That was the thing in the church communications group I saw this morning. So make sure you check. Now, here's the little tip. If a misprint does go through, if there is a misspelling that gets through and is on the website, the rule is to add one more person to the proofreading. So if it's me and my wife and a misspelling still goes through and the date is wrong on the website and it causes issues, the rule is I'm going to add one other person. I'm going to ask our church secretary or maybe my brother, if I had a brother, to say, hey, can you check this for me? And then now I have 3 people, so that doesn't happen again. That's a little pro tip. Number 5, I know I'm going super fast, but down below we'll have a link to the actual article when it's published. Research and stay up to date on updates and trends. Just because you're good with computers does not mean that you're good with websites. And just because you're good with graphic design does not mean you're good with web design. You might have a natural talent and a lot of skills may overlap, but the world of web design is changing. What I learned 5 years ago when I built my first websites and 3 years ago when I started freelancing websites, it's changed. Those things no longer work, and there's new things that are coming out that I need to stay updated. And if you're managing your church website, you should stay updated too. So keep up to date on website design trends and updates, and a big one that we're just I say completed. We're not in the middle. It's done. Mobile is here. Mobile responsiveness was a huge thing a few years ago, but now it's here. So you need to keep up to date and know what's coming. What changes is Google making that might affect your rankings? What changes in devices that people are visiting your website on? What do you need to change on your website? This one is a little bit more, I can't give you specific instructions, but I can tell you if you follow us, Church Training Academy, we do come up with regular updates on, hey, this is what's going on in the web design world. Here's what you need to know for your website. And so the easiest one right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, is hit subscribe, or if you're on our website, download one of our materials we have, like the 7 Church Website Essentials, and you can be in our little world that we have, where you can stay updated on current website trends, and not just websites, social media, video, live streaming, technology. You'll get updates on all of those. So you have a fully functioning media kind of team and research kind of done for you. So that way you can just reap the benefits while me and Dave spend the money and learn the lessons. We can just give you the success right off the bat. So that's all of the 5 simple ways to keep your church updated in 2018. Set aside one time to keep it updated. I prefer Monday mornings. Get all details for your events. That way, when you put something up on the website, it's complete and people can make plans. Check ministry pages for updates. Ministry life gets busy, so help your pastors out and keep their pages updated for them. Make sure you always check spelling and grammar and have someone else proofread for you. And make sure you research and stay up to date on current updates and trends.
Fantastic. Good job.
Woo.
Yeah, that was good. I didn't time that, but that was pretty good there.
I'm gonna get it done in like 3 minutes. I think I blew past that.
That's okay. When we cut it together, we can go and just subtitle it.
Yeah, there you go.
Do it now, and there you go. We're done. All right, so let's talk. Let's talk about our 2018 predictions. First off, I'm curious. I want to backtrack just a hair. In 2017, for you, what came about, whether it's technology or in social media or what have you, that you hadn't really thought of, but you're like, holy cow, I can't believe this happened, and I love this. What was the thing that the technology or service or whatever that caught you by surprise?
Well, we talked about that a little bit in 2 episodes ago, and that was email.
Okay, it's been around since 1971.
Say that again?
It's been around since 1971.
Exactly. But everything makes a comeback, and email never really died to make a comeback. But in the church communications world, we've been swept up with social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's an overcorrection because a lot of the times the church is behind the times.
Oh yeah.
And so when Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and all those social media came about, a lot of people said, I can make sure the church is up to date.
Mhm.
And we had pretty much abandoned everything and went to social media. There are arguments every month about, if you're using direct mail, you're an idiot. If you're using email, you're worthless. Social media is where it's at. But once I actually started my own business and actually even branched outside of the church world and started doing secular, actual business freelancing and marketing coaching, I realized that email is still super powerful and still super relevant. And that was even more hammered into me when I started working at a university IT support and realized that whenever a student's email, and these are like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, whenever their email turns off, they call right away and try to get it turned back on because email is still super important. So, that was one thing that I learned from 2017 is that email is still really, really important. And even as I dive deeper into the marketing world and even in our church world, the big players all got their start because they had an email list.
Oh,
so that's huge for 2017. We'll talk about that too coming up in 2018.
Yeah, that's the email is like one pillar of like this core belief that I have and that you and I are teaching, is that with all these other services that are out there, those belong to other companies, and we rent space, on their servers. We rent space in their ecosystem, like Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. We don't own any of that, so they can throw us off anytime they want. Yeah, I don't like it. My buddy Gary Leland, who is a huge online entrepreneur and has his own little media empire. He's kind of like the number one source online, like in the world, for like fast pitch softball, right? And so he has numerous private and not private Facebook groups. And he woke up one day and like 3 of them were gone. And these are groups that had 25, 30,000 people apiece. And he was never able to get them back. Had to start them all over. He doesn't own those. So when it's something like your email list, you own it. So, I mean, you can literally download that list from, whoever you're using, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, whatever, and look at it in a spreadsheet. It's yours. It's not, you're just using their service, but the names are yours. And so that's something tangible that can't be taken away. So if all these other things fall apart, a church can still communicate with everybody who is on their email list,
Mm-hmm.
So, man, the more I talked, my nose was itching. Sorry, folks. So what do you think is I don't know, maybe one of the dominant trends that you are thinking is going to be happening in 2018? I mean, we got 12 months for something to, explode or rise up. What do you think it's going to be?
So, we're speaking mainly about the church world, not because otherwise we could talk for hours about technology, and there's other guys that are doing a better job than we can. But as far as speaking specifically to the church world, I think the most dominant trend from everything that we kind of have listed that we're going to talk about is going to be a general marketing sense to move from blasting to the masses to actual one-on-one conversation. Now, the technology that we'll use will continue to evolve, but I think we're starting to see a shift now, and especially thanks to people like Kenny Jang, who preaches email. And one of the reasons why I finally turned back to it is, I think we have seen that Facebook as a bulletin board doesn't work. And so now we're using it for brand awareness and encouragement for those things, but it's still one to many. We're still saying, hey, y'all, here's a verse, or hey, guys, here's an event coming up, or did you all see this video? I think we'll see a shift in the way that's done in the church world to where we'll finally realize that people don't come to church or build relationships because of a mass communication. They come because someone talked to them one-on-one. Now, the ways we can do that are, the more sexy way, chat bots, right? Sure. People can get involved in Facebook and then start a relationship with a chat bot that will eventually turn into speaking to someone one-on-one, or going back to email. I think we'll see a lot more people adopting the lead magnet, conversion tool where we can give them a devotional or give them something in return for their email, and then we can nurture them into actually making a visit. Also, texting is still on the rise. Text in Church is a fantastic platform, and they have a great content strategy, and they're just from what I can see, they're just growing like crazy, and they have some great leadership behind them. So I think, for one of the major shifts, I'm calling it right now. It's still going to take a few months, but we're going to move from the one-to-many broadcast to getting that conversation that we use from social media. We're going to convert them into one-on-one dialogue where we introduce them to the church, our mission, our values, our pastor, and nurture them to actually make a visit in person.
Right, and that speaks in some cases to one of mine, which is a larger technology that I think in this case can be applied, which is the artificial intelligence and the using things like the chatbots that when someone meets a certain criteria or types something specific or asks a specific question or what have you, then a bot can turn around and answer that question based on a certain list of criteria. So I see stuff like that, like the artificial intelligence, becoming more and more user friendly, becoming more and more ubiquitous, and then kind of melding into, you get some of your basic information that you need. Someone responds to a video or to an email or something like that, and then a chat bot pops up. They start a little, they ask them, "Are you currently going to a church? Are you doing something?" And it can be done in a very conversational, very I'm talking to a real person kind of a feel, and then at a certain point, it just changes over to an actual conversation with somebody. Yeah, I'd love to meet the pastor, and all of a sudden, boom, one of the pastors pops up there and goes, "Hey," and it sort of bridges that, almost where the chatbot can do some of the introduction, I guess you could say. So I see the artificial intelligence at large becoming a lot more ubiquitous throughout technology, and I see us working the benefits of that into the church as well.
Yeah, artificial intelligence. I think we're gonna see the max of it with dynamic treeing of the AI. If the person says this, tell them this, or if they do this, do this, or if they like this, present them with this. I think actually in 2019, I still think we're still a ways from this. We're actually going to get into data mining and discovering how to better present the gospel depending on who we're presenting it to.
Right.
So we talk about this a lot, on social media. People in the morning want encouragements. In the afternoons, they want quick facts, quick wins. And then in the evenings is when you actually get to hit them with, longer encouraging stories and more sensitive matters. And Facebook is really getting into that too, as far as what it delivers. And just knowing that, pay attention to what Facebook serves you in the morning. It'll be real quick, real encouraging, just like, oh, okay, scroll. Oh, that's nice, scroll. But in the afternoons, it'll be more facts and figures, things to kind of like wake you up to the day and what's going on around the world. And then in the evening, Facebook, it's going to serve you more videos. It's going to serve you more stories. It's going to serve you more of the things like, oh, I had knee surgery today. I thought it was a blood clot, but oh, I'm so glad to be alive kind of thing, where really more introspective and more sensitive matters. I think we're going to catch on to that a little bit more and start using data mining to figure out what kind of information to serve to who and where. I don't think we're going to be there in 2018. I think it's going to top with the telling the AI what to do with certain variables, but not so much discover those variables. I think we're going to get more into that in 2019.
Yeah, I can see that, where it's been gathering the list of variables, the list of criteria and stuff has been growing over time, and it's been learning how people are reacting based on those variables, and then can start doing some predictive modeling as to what I see a time, and like you said, it's probably not going to be 2018, but I see a time where we will be able to have, if you've liked our Facebook page, then our AI, our bot or what have you, is paying attention to you at some level and pay attention to your Facebook activity and the things that you're interested in at a certain level, and is monitoring. And when we all do this, dude, today has been like the roughest day I have ever had. And then all of a sudden, because of that, something gets put out into the Facebook stream from the church to that person, whether it's just an encouragement thing or it could be just a little chat message. Hey, it's been a rough day for a lot of folks and stuff. Would you like to talk? And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it connects you with one of the ministerial team or something. Hey man, what's been going on? Why has it been so rough? What happened? That sort of thing. And it can be used as a trigger to bring about the one-on-one that you've been talking about. I can definitely see that happening.
Right. And that's pretty cool. Kenny Jang's ears were burning because he's in the Facebook chat now.
Hey, hi, Kenny.
I think you missed it, but I had mentioned, how you're one of the biggest proponents of email right now in the church world, and you're bringing it back. And that's my prediction. Email's making a comeback in 2018.
Speaking of, when I did a Skype with Kenny a couple months ago. Actually, Kenny's the one that introduced you and I. And we definitely need to have him on the show and talk about maybe email in the church and areas that he sees that the church is could win more, and where they're just totally missing it. And he's a great resource. By the way, guys, if you don't know who Kenny is, just look him up. Go check out Church Butler. What is it? Butler.church? Isn't that the
I think so. Yeah. Butler.church.
Yeah. Go check out Kenny. He's a really good thought leader in our space, really good, and he's the one that brought Justin and I together. So thanks again, Kenny.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, let's kind of hit some social medias. I think Facebook is hitting its peak, and I think in 2018 it is going to peak. And we've already seen kind of some people saying, "Oh, I'm noticing I'm really just getting more friends and family in my feed, and not as much pages I like." I think Facebook's finally going to hit that bubble and say, if you really want to get in people's feeds, you're going to have to become a sponsored post.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are using.
Yeah. That's
yeah. I think a lot of more people are using Facebook like LinkedIn, and they're building their professional relationship there. And then on the flip, I think a lot of people too are starting to unfriend the people they don't talk to since high school, or the pages that randomly pop into their feed. Not to say that there won't be any organic things. I think if you interact with a page, then Facebook might serve a couple of posts organically, but I think we're still going to see that number go from 6% to 3%. And to really only reliably be in people's feeds, you're going to have to do a sponsored post, or booster post, or do an advertisement like that, unless people actually specifically go to their page's feed. But I think that's where we're headed. I think Facebook's going to bubble out, and that's what's going to come in 2018.
That's interesting. We've definitely been seeing that organic reach as far professionally for businesses is definitely a whole lot lower. And Facebook's job is to make money. Their job is to make money by selling advertising, and the way they do that is by providing a social user experience for everybody on the platform, and try to make that experience as visually appealing as possible. So, I've heard a lot of marketers and stuff say you have to remember that Facebook is a social platform. So, yeah, I can definitely see, and it has been organic for pages, has definitely been going down. What I'm hoping is it doesn't become cost prohibitive for a company to be able to buy the reach. I like the idea that you can sponsor a post, boost a post for $1 a day or $2 a day or something, and get that message out there. And if you want to do it for $10 a day, you can do that. I don't want to see where a company has to, they got to spend $4,000 a month if they're going to get any kind of traction and stuff. Because I mean, you might as well look somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's been Facebook's bread and butter. I think that's baked into their B2B branding. So I don't think it'll ever become cost prohibitive. The cost is going to go up. I mean, it's just like with anything, it's no longer 2 cents to reach 100 people.
Sure.
So the cost will go up, but I don't think it will be prohibitive that a startup or a church could not use the Facebook ads. I wish I could make a prediction on Facebook groups, because a lot of pages and businesses are turning their pages into groups.
Sure.
Because groups has the more organic reach. I think Facebook's going to kind of catch on to that probably in the fall of 2018, and they're going to start limiting group reach, probably introduce some kind of boosting for group reach. And we'll see a similar trend there because there's Facebook groups for everything now, and they're mostly run by pages by businesses. And so I think Facebook's going to catch on to that and say, okay guys, you've had your fun, now you got to start paying, because you're not paying for ads anymore. So same thing, the money's got to flow from somewhere. So I think around the fall 2018, Facebook is going to start honing in those groups and say, okay, we got to start doing some sponsoring here.
I think
that's another prediction.
I think that I don't know necessarily that they're going to do that. I think if you think about the social experience, the group is the, when we started noticing that we weren't seeing a lot of stuff happening from pages. I mean, I went out and I found a page from whatever company or whatever influencer that I like, and I said like, and basically that's me saying I want this in my feed, and then Facebook said, well, you may want this in your feed, but you're not going to get this in your feed unless the other people who are doing this start paying us. That's not cool, but I can understand it. If they start doing that with groups, then I think Facebook as a platform is going to start dwindling, because how much more purposeful can you say? It would be like saying, I am a local businessman, and I want to join the Chamber of Commerce and help grow the downtown business district. And then the Chamber of Commerce going, don't tell him when the meetings are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't see them doing that. Because how much more purposeful can it be? We are creating a group around a certain topic, and this is where we want to meet. And then Facebook saying, well, the owner of the group's going to have to pay if you guys are going to want to do that. You know what? We're going to go and set up something else somewhere else. The next iteration of forums that are actually much more manageable and easy to work with will start showing up on people's websites, and Facebook is just going to start suffering. I don't think that they're going to do that.
Okay, so that's going to be one thing that we disagree on. Yeah. I think Facebook, even if it's not what I said, they may come up with a separate monetization thing.
They can put ads in groups.
These groups are going to have to do. They're going to do something with these groups, because there's people now that are saying Facebook page. Who cares? If you want to start a business and you want to be on Facebook, make a group.
Yeah.
And I think Facebook's going to catch on to that. And again, it's going to take till the end of the year.
We go into a group,
but I think they're going to do some kind of monetization of those groups.
Well, we still see ads. We see ads in the column, in the right hand column in a group. It's just like any other Facebook. The Facebook interface really doesn't change drastically when you get into a group. I think maybe
right, but I'm saying just to appear in the feed or get the notification. When someone in the group does that, when someone posts in a group, you can set, I think it's automatically for some groups, or I don't know how it works, but I get a notification. So-and-so is posted in the so-and-so group. I think Facebook's going to finally just hone down, and they're going to be the bad guys, but making pages because they have a group now that can do everything for free. Facebook's going to monetize that somehow. And they're probably going to become the bad guys, but they lived through the decline of page reach, and they're going to figure out how to. They're much smarter than me, so they'll figure it out, even if it's not the way I think.
I think they'll be dropping relevant sponsored stuff in the groups, and we'll start seeing, if you're in a group, you may start seeing like an IBM Watson ad or something like that, being a part of that. I think something like that makes more sense than literally, biting the hand that's feeding you,
having to pay. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I just think they would be shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, I really do, and I think there would be a lot of backlash, and I think they would backpedal very quickly and get it straightened out. That's my prediction.
All right,
I have a prediction that is video wise. We already know that video is like the most effective way to communicate information. It's much more engaging than reading something. It's much more engaging than looking at a pretty picture with words. I think, and I've been in and around this space for about 5 or 6 years. When like 360 video first started coming out, I mean, back in 2014 when we built our big studio, we had one of the people that came and was officing in our space, renting an office from us, was a guy who was developing 3D not 3D, excuse me, 360 video. And so I've been watching this grow over time, and I've played with the cameras early on, and I've seen it this year has gotten, especially the last 6 months, has taken a better foothold. And I think 2018 is going to be something that in mass is going to become much more available. The platforms, the video platforms, are allowing you to stream in some cases 360, definitely upload 360. The editing platforms have an option when you are bringing in footage or when you're outputting footage. This is VR footage or this is 360 footage, and it treats it as such. I am going to sometime this year get my hands on a 360 camera, and I'm going to start playing with it in the church environment. And I can see worship services, worship sets, and things like that done in or streamed in 360 on the stage, where a viewer can be on the stage with the worship team watching it as it's going on, or where there's special events. You have, when you have a guest speaker or something like that, you have a 360 camera that's on the stage with them for a more immersive, experience. And I think as we move into, that's great when it's fun when it's on a screen, but we're also going to be seeing, I think, more of the goggles and VR and things like that becoming interfaces that we are okay to use for certain things. And I think we'll get to a point maybe by the end of the year where more people are using the VR for some of this stuff, where it's like, hey, I'm going to watch the stream for the church, and you can put on a thing, and there it is, and it's like no big deal. It's sitting over here. I think the Oculus Rift is still really, really expensive, but there's other options out there that are, that just involve your phone and a $10, frame from Walmart that you can get. And I think we'll start seeing some of those more readily used, less novelty and more, hey, I'm going to do it this way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. 360 video is going to be huge in 2018. How much does a average consumer 360 camera cost right now?
$299.
$299.
Yeah,
okay.
that's for one that's two
Capable,
180-degree lenses on either side, like the Ricoh Theta or something like that. They're in the $300 range. But there's things that there's adapters and things that you can put on your phone.
Yeah. I think it will. I think once it gets down to about 150, we'll see churches starting to buy into them.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to see with 360 video. I want to see someone, a men's group, meet for their normal men's Bible study, plop a 360 camera down in the middle, and that way at home I can join the meeting. But not only that, I can turn and look at the person that's talking or presenting or sharing. If I want to get involved, I can probably type in the comments or whatever, and the leader knows, oh yeah, Justin said you made a good point. He had this story happen. Or maybe I can hop in live, if you're doing a live 360, and then we can share screen and Justin can hop on and everyone can listen to him. I want to see 360 used for that. Because I think, again, that's more getting into the relational setting of, one-on-one or one to a few inside of there. I would love to see that. So, I immediately think of a pastor in California, one of my former pastors, who does a pastor's porch. And, people can come and have lunch with him and discuss something he's reading or whatever they do. But he can just stick the 360 camera on the table and be like, hey, anyone wants to come and listen, you don't have to make it to the church. If you only have a 30-minute lunch, tune in and you can turn and be involved. Or if you don't have the goggles, mouse over and be involved in that conversation.
Yeah.
I still think VR is still a ways away. I don't think 2018 is going to be any bigger for VR, because you still need the investment, and not only the monetary investment to get the goggles and get the computer that'll run it, but also the real estate. I don't think we're there yet with people dedicating even half a room to be able to do something comfortably. I never could with my living room with the Kinect, and I think a lot of people I know with the Xbox Kinect couldn't really dedicate a lot of the room. You just kind of move the coffee table to the side.
I mean, in that case we're talking about a more, we're talking about, like Ready Player One. We're talking about like where you join the Oasis and you need a good 5 feet around you. and all this kind of thing. No, I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about you're sitting at your desk or you're using your phone and you grab your Google Cardboard and you put it in and you slip it on, and then now you're a part of the thing. That's something that most people can do. I mean, seriously, you can run to Walmart and it's like $10. You can get, I mean, it's plastic. It's not even the Google Cardboard. It's like a $15 little plastic
you can make
deal.
your own. If you have a box, you have a leftover moving box or just an Amazon package, you can make trace. You can print traces, and you can make your own at home.
Yeah, you can. And I think we're going to see stuff like that. I am also looking for some of the technology in the Oculus Rift to lower in price, and that the price of the standard, which is the Oculus Rift, which I've played with and is a tremendous device, that has to come down in price. It's owned by Facebook. So they're obviously going to be working more and more and more in this area, and we are going to be going into a virtual Facebook world. My buddy Leslie Samuel from Become a Blogger did a live stream in Facebook Spaces, I think is what it's called. And there's an avatar of Leslie, and he has his Oculus Rift on, and he's doing a live stream. And as his avatar is talking, if somebody joins him, just like when you're doing live streaming through the Facebook app, like on your desktop, and you can take someone in the comments and join them into your live stream. You can do that in here, except it shows up as a floating window, and there's a person. And as he moves around, that window can stay, or he can grab that window and pull it in. And like I'm doing with this, he can like pull it in and set that person like right there if he wants, and boom, there they are. And then comments and stuff, he can grab a comment card and hold it up, and here's the comment that the person just typed or whatever, and then he can throw that away. I think they're playing with that stuff. I think Facebook is going to be moving into that type of thing, and I think it's going to become, ultimately, maybe in the next 3 or 4 years, the dominant way that we interface on Facebook is going to become much, much more virtual. And I think in that case, they're definitely going to have to come up with new ways of handling that data. The cool thing is that we may not. It may be easier because groups of people are congregating in certain areas, so to speak, as opposed to somebody's just one big single feed. That Facebook has to figure out how to get things into. It's like we're in a group, and now we're going to do this, and now all of a sudden there's a dozen of us in there, and we're all in kind of a virtual space. And then Facebook can do stuff directly to that little group, whether it's advertising or what have you. So, and it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out, and if we actually ever do get to the Oasis, as it were. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there's a book out there called Ready Player One. It's just a novel. It's a techno thriller and stuff. It's don't let your younger kids read it and stuff because they got some harsh language in there. But it's kind of where a lot of this stuff could converge, and it'd be interesting to see if it actually were to ever get anywhere close to that. Anyway, close parentheses. You got another one?
Yep. I got time for one more.
Okay. Yeah, I know you.
I know you wanted to talk about it. Do you want to hit net neutrality?
Just to say that there's a whole, in my opinion, there's a whole lot of much ado about nothing. In 2015, before the net neutrality law came into place, things were fine. We did have issues like you brought up in our discussion the other night that AT&T is like, well, you can't use FaceTime because we want you to use ours and stuff. And I know everybody's worried about that sort of stuff. The reality is that's not going to happen. There's going to be. I mean, we live in a time where if a Seattle bakery says no thank you, we're not going to do a wedding cake for your lesbian funeral, the world goes crazy, and Twitter bots and all this sort of stuff in an uproar, and they shut down private enterprise businesses and stuff. I don't see any reason why that same kind of backlash won't happen when a provider says, we're going to cut off part of the internet from you if you're on our service. If you're on our service, you don't get to use part of the internet. Then someone is going to come up and say, use our service. And we see stuff like that where in our area there's like 2 cable providers that you can get. It can either be Time Warner Spectrum or you can be AT&T Uverse. Okay, that's what we have in our area. But we have antennas, so you can put an antenna up. That's a technology that's been around for a long time, but it's the third option that people don't think of. Down where my parents live, there's other stuff where you see a trailer that has an antenna that goes up and has this little microwave dish sitting on top, and it's pointed to someplace 30 miles away, and they're getting cable basically. It's not satellite, it's not Time Warner Spectrum, it's this other thing. So there's going to be another thing. If a company like AT&T or Spectrum or Comcast or whatever has the balls to come forward and say, hey, population that is using our service, that is paying for our service, you can't get on Netflix and you can't use Amazon, then that company is going to suffer mightily for doing something like that. Their job is to have paying subscribers. And in a world of cable cutting and all that sort of stuff, they are all realizing that being a dumb pipe is where they're headed. So creating content that comes down that dumb pipe is great. If they try to act monopolistically, being a monopoly is not illegal. Acting in an antitrust fashion where you are limiting people's access to get other stuff like that, they will suffer for that. Because people will simply say, you know what, it's not that important. And they just won't, they won't deal with it. Or, something will happen. We're not at their mercy. They're at our mercy. Close parentheses. Are you still there? You're all still.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
So we have the same prediction, but for different reasons. Again, looking at 2018, I don't think anything is going to happen for because of the repeal of net neutrality. It's too soon. It's too fresh on people's minds. And they know the backlash is going to be huge because it's still fresh on people's minds. Like not even 1 year has passed, and most of 2018 will be, you know what I'm saying? Like most of 2018 will fall into less than 1 year since the repeal has gone through. Sure. So I think the companies will be smart enough to know we shouldn't do anything right now. Now they're not ever going to announce, hey, we're going to slow down your Netflix because we want you to use Hulu because we are part owners of Hulu. They're never going to announce that. It's just going to happen slowly and gradually. And it won't be till about 2000. They may not start to slow down till 2019, but they're just going to happen. But I don't think anyone's going to actually implement anything until later on. Later on down the road. 2018, it's not going to.
Yeah,
nothing's going to be different.
Anything like that, there's going to be class action lawsuits. There's going to be antitrust lawsuits. There's going to be stuff like that is happening. I mean, if GM also was part owner of, Shell Oil or something like that, that would be tantamount to saying that GM is going to make it so that their cars run really good on Shell Oil. But if you want to put mobile in it, then I mean it'll turn over and the engine will fire and it'll drive and stuff. But you may get absolutely horrible mileage because we're going to change something in the computer and stuff. Stuff like that gets weeded out and gets either through people or through stuff like an antitrust lawsuit, where big stuff like that comes up and gigantic fines come. AT&T, they learned a lot of stuff about that with like slamming back in the day, where they would just blanketly take a group of people and say, you're on our long distance now. And then when people threw a fit, they go, oh, okay, here's $20 and we're sorry. And they change you back over to MCI or Sprint or whoever it was, stuff like that is going to happen. If there is going to be any kind of regulation and stuff, I think it's going to be at a higher level where it's like, hey, you can have a monopoly, you can't act monopolistically. And I think
basically what the net neutrality laws were.
Yeah, but the net neutrality laws, there was a whole lot of other things in there, and what it did was it barred a company from two companies working together to create a competitive advantage, and that is wrong. And you can't do stuff like that. You need to be able to say, hey, if you're going to offer access, then everybody needs to be able to have access. Okay, and if you're going to allow someone to, if a service is going to be allowed to be sold in the United States, then just like an 18-wheeler needs to be able to drive on Highway 77 and Interstate 35, and they can pay and get on the toll road. So if those companies want to pay a little bit more and the trucking company is going to have a competitive advantage over Bill and Ted's Excellent Trucking Company because they can afford the tolls to pay the tolls and get there faster. Then that's great. That's great for them, and that's great for their end users and stuff. However, for net neutrality to come in and say no one's allowed to use the toll roads, you all have to use the potholes that are on Highway 77. That's what net neutrality was doing. You can't do that. You punish the hell out of a company that acts in an antitrust manner by fining them and doing all sorts of stuff like that. But you don't say nobody's allowed to come up with a competitive advantage and cut deals and provide real choice for a consumer. Make sense?
No, and that's a different discussion that we'll maybe have. I don't know.
You said you're a libertarian, are you? Are you really? Are you really?
Yes, I am really a libertarian, which speaks a lot that I supported the net neutrality rules.
Yeah.
Basically because the government messed it up in the first place by allowing no compete contracts in cities
and
allowing companies to have monopolies in these cities.
And that's
so
that's the thing
they should fix it. Now, granted, the best thing would be to say, oh, deregulated. We're not going to have any hands in it. But that's not the world we live in. We need to make the rules that apply to the rules we live in. And like I said, this has nothing to do with 2018 predictions because our prediction is the same. Nothing will change. Everything's going to be the same for 2018. But this is not a politics. This is not not even a general technology podcast. It's specifically speaking to churches. And I think we agree that for churches, net neutrality in 2018, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Your live streaming won't be affected. Your downstream won't be affected. Maybe we can have a conversation, maybe in the CTA Insiders group.
Yeah.
Or we'll do a separate live, maybe in person or something like that.
Do you see in a church space, do you see things like Alexa and Google Home and Siri becoming more and more used?
Yes, I do. The problem is it's still so segmented. The thing is, this is something Brady Shearer says, and I try to share with other people, is that everything works. You can send mailers, you can do Facebook ads, you can go knocking on doors, and someone will come to church. Everything works. The problem is that because everything works, you have to decide what is more efficient for your budget. We talk about, the church's budget is one of the most valuable things you ever have to fight for or fight against. And so Alexa would absolutely work for the church. Hey, Alexa, give me my, I'm sorry, I just set off everything. Dang it. Anyone who listening with an Alexa just got set off. Hey, give me my flash briefing. Oh, today's flash briefing is from First Baptist Church. And then here's a proverb and what it can mean for you today. Right. That's awesome. You can do the same thing on Google Home and you can do the same thing for Siri. The problem is each one of those takes time and research. And, if Frank, who also does the live stream, who also does the website, who also does the social media, if he's got to now do Alexa skills, then that website's not getting updated. That social media is not going to get a post for that day.
What's going to happen?
The bulletin's not going to get proofed. So everything works, but you got to decide what's going to be the biggest investment for you. Right. That's the problem.
And I think that just like we had services like Hootsuite and these others where you can kind of congeal all these different social medias into one panel and one dashboard and stuff. I think we're going to end up with, and you're seeing this with app development where, you can use Bill and Ted's App Builder and you can get everything put together that you want for your app. And then you can say, make it on iTunes or on iOS, make it for Google, and then it goes in and puts in the things that are necessary and specific to those platforms so that it will work seamlessly on both platforms. And I think what's going to happen is that there's going to be some company or somebody that is able to either using the SDK or an API framework and be able to tap into that so that you can have an iOS device and use Google as your primary deal, or you can have an Alexa device and you can say, play something. We can already see these devices talking to things in other ecosystems, right? With If This Then That and Zapier and stuff like that. These services that bridge, these macros basically that bridge these two things. If something happens on this platform, then make this happen on this platform. So there's going to be stuff like that. We're already seeing it. I think there will end up being this, if you install this app on your phone and it's a cross-platform thing, then you have access to, your Google stuff. You have access to your Alexa stuff, and no telling with Siri. I mean, that's
will
Apple.
that come in 2018?
I think we'll start seeing the seeds of that. I mean, we're already seeing the seeds of that just by sheer fact that if this then that exists, and it has for 6 or 7 years now. I think there will be something, and it may be through one of those two platforms, or it may be somebody that comes up with something else that I talk to everybody. I mean, there's already third-party assistants out there that are not from the big three, and I mean, Facebook hasn't even dipped its toe really into that space. So I think there's going to be something out there where we're all using a third party and it acts on behalf of the others or something, in which case that will spur the others, I think, to release APIs or do something. Hey, if you want to get this data, if you want to get this search data and build this user data and stuff, then you're going to have to do it the way the people want, not necessarily the way that you want. And I mean, we're starting to see stuff that attitude. We're starting to see that with backlash against Apple. I mean, they just released a $14,000 iMac Pro. I think we will probably see some of the worst sales, just like we did with the Mac Pro. How those sales, we all know people that have one, but not like we used to. I mean, everybody had a MacBook or a MacBook Pro or an iMac. All of a sudden, how many people do you know that are using a Mac Pro trash can? Very few, right? I think we're gonna start seeing that, and it's that backlash against, hey, you're not doing me any favors, so I'm not going to put my money there. So I think that kind of a mentality and stuff. I guess by and large, consumers saying no. I think that's probably a big prediction, and I hope to see that grow, and for consumers to realize we have the power. You think that an iPhone is too expensive? Don't buy one. Tell everybody else not to buy one. Go out on a crusade. Gather a big group of people. I mean, if you can gather people to march on Washington, for whatever. I mean, whatever stupid thing that you can do a protest on and stuff, we can channel that into helping these companies meet our needs, and thereby making themselves more successful by meeting our needs instead of forcing us to spend. It's a car. You can go buy a Kia Soul for the price of that computer. That's foolishness. So there's going to be a backlash.
I totally lost that conversation. We were talking about voice, and then now we're talking about computer pricing.
We're moving.
I enjoyed listening to it, but I have nothing else to say because I don't know where we landed.
I moved into a larger prediction. That's one aspect, and so is the net neutrality thing and all that. And the larger prediction out of all of that is people, the consumers, realizing they have all the power. No one told you, Justin, you have to go out and buy an iPhone X or 10, whatever the crap is called. Nobody told you had to do that. You made the decision to do that. And at some point, just like with whatever else, people are going to say, this doesn't help me in any way. And so we're going to not do this. And these companies will bend to the will of the customer over time. And that's across all these different types of things. That's my overarching prediction. And that's actually what I want to see more and more and more of, is consumers and users and viewers having the power.
Okay.
So there.
All right. Well, Ant-Man has ended on your iPad.
Has it?
So I think it's time to bring this show to a close.
I didn't even realize you knew you could see that clearly.
Oh yeah, I was watching it the whole time. Anytime I spaced out, it's because I was watching Ant-Man.
Oh, okay, good. I'll have to put my face on back there. All right.
All right. Well, I appreciate everyone. This has definitely been our most commented show.
Interesting.
And some fantastic discussions going on in the group, even outside of us, people talking to other people.
Good.
As far as I could see, no one was unreasonable. And I think it was a good show.
I think so too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Justin, thanks for being here. It has been a great. How long have you and I been doing our thing? When did we come together?
September 27th is when I came on CTA for the first time.
Okay. So you and I have been running this little enterprise we're trying here for
Up to 3 months.
About 3 months, yeah. So
yep. And you started a lot of it. You grew the first subscribers, and the people that we subscribe to us on YouTube and the people that find us through other means. It's because of the groundwork that you've laid, because you've already started this back in, what was it, 2015, and you already have videos with thousands of views because you've already SEO'd those videos and they've lived there and they're tested by YouTube. And so whatever success we have right now in the 3 months is really due to the groundwork that you've laid, and the audience that you've already built up, which is no light thing to take.
Well, I appreciate that. And now we're amplifying and focusing and, trying to be as purposeful as possible. And that's in large part thanks to you, because I have somebody that I can throw an idea at who can slap me and say, no, it's a stupid idea. We'll do that next month. and
which y'all don't know, don't leave it there, because you slap me back and you're like, no, I disagree with that too.
Yeah.
And then it's a back and forth.
Yeah.
Our messenger, if we ever publish our messenger threads, people will be like, oh my gosh, these guys hate each other. Yeah. The show is a lie.
No, actually, and that's fine. It's a great segue to something that we are about to start rolling out. He and I do a weekly get together where we get on Zoom and we sort of plan out what we're going to do this week, and we go over, hey, this worked. Let's try another thing like this, or let's try. Do we get more people watching the show live when we send the email that's announcing the show 2 minutes before we go live, or an hour before live? It's like we're finding out that when people see it and they go, oh, it's happening right now, I'll go take a look. So those are the kind of discussions we have in there. And then we also, argue over things and we do all that. And we're actually going to be making that semi-public. That's going to be something that we're putting in the member section of our website. And he and I are doing that for two purposes. Number one, we want to be transparent as possible. We're not going to share deep, huge, dark secrets and stuff like that. But we're going to be talking at a certain level where we have nothing to hide, and we want to grow this company, and we want to serve people, and we want to spread the word. And so making our conversations available to the people who are paying us a monthly membership fee to be a part of this team, and giving them an insight into what's going on in our heads, and then allowing them to speak into us saying, we think this idea is really good, we would love this, or we think this idea is really bad, you might want to try doing it this way. That sort of stuff is valuable all the way around for everybody. So we are doing that. Then we also just, hopefully would entertain y'all with some of the stuff. We did our meeting, and we actually got 2 weeks worth of content sort of planned out. And then we spent 45 minutes talking about Last Jedi. So that's going to be showing up. I'm going to be working on that portion of the thing over the holidays, and hopefully that little deal will be available for everybody right after the first of the year.
Bonus episode or bonus podcast, whatever it decides to be.
Something like that.
The other benefit to the office out or our meetings that we hope that our members glean from it is we'll talk a little bit more advanced marketing, because not everyone's going to be at the point where you need to start talking about A/B testing and personalization, right, and timing and all that. Really, a lot of churches that we hope to reach on Facebook and YouTube, you're still at the point where you need to develop an email strategy. You need to develop a posting strategy. You still need to connect and get your first live stream started, or, you still need to get your first RSS going for a blog or podcast or whatever. So we want to spend more time on the free resources, getting those people onboarded to get caught up to where, people expect organizations to be. But in our meetings, we'll talk a little bit more advanced. We'll talk a little bit more future thinking, and hopefully you'll all glean a little bit of like, oh, this is, I feel caught up, or this is what Dave and Justin are talking. This is what they're practicing. We'll talk about things we're doing in our church, and you'll be able to see that, where we failed, you get a little bit of a head start there. You get to participate in some of the case studies that we're working on, and kind of see what it looks like to run a meeting too, because There's a lot of things going on that you have to stay on track with a meeting, and it's not just happening. These things are being planned, and so you can know what's coming up ahead of time. So when we're talking about our course in February, and you see the meeting minutes, the video meeting in January, you can ask the question, hey, you're planning this course. I have these specific questions. You can see that ahead of time. We try to keep that open dialogue inside of the CTA Insiders group. And so that's another added benefit, is you get to see a little bit more of the advanced things that we're talking about, a little bit more of the tech that maybe we don't talk about or can't talk about for our free content, but you can dive a little bit deeper with us in those video meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got to get to work, Dave.
Yes,
are we still scheduled to launch the new live stream course in January?
Working on it. It may not be may not be first week, but yeah.
Okay.
I've actually gotten hammered, and here's some radical transparency. I've gotten hammered with client work and stuff, especially as the year has been ending. I'm trying to get
dare they, man? Just tell them, hey, just figure it out on your own. Yeah, just keep paying me, but figure it out on your own.
Exactly. So I have gotten a little bit behind, but again, I'm going to have some concentrated time here to try to get that all nailed down and launched. But yes, January there is going to be a workshop. There we're going to be releasing course/workshop, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be focused on OBS, and it's going to be how to get up and running on OBS, and then some more advanced techniques and all that. Because OBS is a free platform that, with minimal resources, you can get your live stream going. And so we want people to get their live stream going very quickly, very fast once you up and running and all that. So that'll be a workshop that we will be selling individually. So if you just want to buy that, great, you can buy it and use it, and hope everything goes just absolutely wonderful for you. Or if you're a member, it's going to be in the member library, in the workshop library, for the Church Training Academy gang. So all that's in the works, as well as like a million other things. I mean, y'all, not kidding. He and I have ideas, shooting out of us, like making a mess, actually, in some cases. So
Dave is the dreamer. He's the idealist. He's the I see this. I want to make this. I want to create this. And I'm the realist that actually says, okay, we got to put a deadline to it. We have to make a process. We have to make checklists. I put checklists in our Trello thing, and it was kind of overwhelming because I was like, man, there really is a lot of things to do just to launch one course.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we bounce each other off, because Dave's the idea man and I'm the applicator.
Yeah, the applicator.
what that's about. I'm the realist.
and now if you want to order your home catheter kit, we have that available too at churchtrainingacademy.com with an applicator designed by Justin.
And it will whatever. I got to get back to work.
Go
Dave.
for it.
Because if you're on our list, you get all the information about the upcoming courses, including the live streaming course. So why don't you introduce for the people? Looks like we got a couple of people that are interested in live streaming.
Oh, wonderful.
Still watching. Can you go ahead? I'm going to take off. Go ahead and introduce people to Easy Live Streaming. Live streaming for church is the easy way.
Yes.
I got to take off, but I think that's going to be something they want to know. And if you're on the list already, you get all the launch information and bonuses, because before we actually launch the course, you get special bonuses that no one else sees or gets to hear from our free content. So that's definitely something worthwhile. So do that. I'm going to take off. I appreciate you guys watching. Dave, as always, it's a pleasure. Yes. Love you like a brother, even when we disagree like brothers. You're my main man, and I'm so excited to see you on Saturday.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to it. All right, go have fun at work.
All right, I'm outie.
All right, bye. Hey guys, so those of you that are interested in doing live streaming or adding live streaming to your ministry, there's a lot you can do with it. I mean, there's a lot you can do with it. It's not just broadcasting your service. I mean, it can actually be a really effective communication tool. So if you're thinking, if the idea is out there and you can see it as something, even a cursory interest, then go to easylivestreaming.com, and we've got a free ebook for you there called Live Streaming for Churches the Easy Way. It's really short, but it basically explains to you the 4 levels of live streaming and how you can start applying live streaming as a part of your ministry, like today. Like you could sit down and read this over lunch and then, get up and start live streaming in your ministry as soon as you're finished with it. I mean, that's how much good information is in there, and it really opens your eyes. So definitely go and grab that. It's a free resource that we've put together for you guys. So easylivestreaming.com, and go learn about the 4 modes of live streaming. And it's funny because there's actually like 4.5, because we've talked about some other things. So if you can identify what the half is, like maybe somewhere between the second mode and the third mode, if you can identify that, somebody let me know what it is. I'd like to know what you think it is, because I'm going to be talking about it a little bit more in further stuff. Anyway, easylivestreaming.com. Guys, thank y'all so much for watching, and we have really enjoyed hanging out with you guys this year. We've enjoyed growing with you guys. Those of y'all that have been with me personally for the last year, as I've been building this up, and the fits and starts, and the just the challenges and stuff that I've gone through, all the encouragement that you guys have been giving, y'all, it has been invaluable. Is that a word? Invaluable? Valuable. It sounds like you're saying it's not been valuable. It's been huge, and it really has. It's been extremely encouraging, and I really appreciate it. And guys, 2018 is going to be just absolutely amazing. I thank God every day that He brought Justin and I together, and that I now have somebody to run down this path with, and it's not so lonely, and it's not so scary, because He can help me make the decisions, and I don't have to literally bet my entire family's financial future on a whim, So it's huge. So 2018 is going to be great. And just remember all the stuff that we're teaching you guys, the things that we're sharing with y'all, the insights we're getting from you and then sharing with others and all that. The whole goal is to fulfill the Great Commission. That's what we're doing. So take what you've been learning this year and what you're going to be learning in 2018 and go out there and change some lives. God bless you guys. Thank y'all so much for a great 2017. And I cannot wait for the cool things that we're going to be doing in 2018. God bless you guys.